Hey friends, welcome to this mellow movement sesh to calm your mind. For this class, you will need a blanket, and let's get started. Stand up and bring your chin straight down to your chest. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Here with your chin down to your chest, shrug your shoulders up towards the ceiling and forward towards the space where your ears now are. Another deep breath in, and as you exhale, let your shoulders relax. Pick your head back up. Now take a big breath in and reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, bring it all the way down to the ground. However you want to get down there. We're going to lie down on our backs. Bend your knees and put your feet on the ground, and then bend your elbows to 90 degrees. Your robot arms here. So your triceps are resting on the ground. So we're going to do a little crisscross movement here to make our brains wired up, connected, and happy. So you're going to push down into your left knee as you push down into your right arm, and that's going to allow you to lift your hips up. Your right foot's going to lift and your left hand's going to lift. So this is kind of the movement that you would do if you were walking. You would have opposite hand and leg swinging forward. And so then you're going to set your hips back down, set everything back down, and then switch over to the other side. So right foot pushes down, left arm pushes down. Your hips come up, right arm up, left knee up. And you're going to go back down. And you're going to switch from side to side. I like to coordinate my breath here to this movement, but I know that there's a lot going on here. So if you have any extra awareness to spare for your breath, you can inhale as you come towards the ground and exhale as you lift away from the ground. One more each way. Great job. Rest down. And from here, let's cross the left ankle over the right thigh. So if you feel a good hip stretch on the left side, stay put there. If you want more stretch, pick your right foot up off the ground. And you can do a hands-free stretch like me, or you can rest your hands on your right knee, or you can thread your arms through and clasp onto the front of the right shin or the back of the right thigh. So there's so many options. And let's rock the legs a little bit from side to side, noticing how the stretch sensation changes as the angle of your legs changes. And then keep your leg crossed just like this, but put your right foot back down. Take a breath in and exhale. Push into your right foot and let your hips lift away from the ground. And now reach your knees away from your head. It might be a mental reach. It might not feel like they want to go very far, and that is just fine. And then go ahead and set the hips back down, uncross, and pause. Take a full breath in and out. Right ankle over the left thigh. So pause here if you feel a good stretch. If you want more stretch, pick the left foot up. And again, you choose your arm position. Once you get your arms sorted, you can go ahead and do a little rocking with the legs from side to side. And again, watching to see how the stretch sensation changes as the angle of the legs changes. And come back to center And now keep your legs crossed, but put the left foot down on the ground. Take a breath in and exhale. Push through the left foot. The hips come up. And then try reaching your knees away from your head any amount. Mine feel like they go just a scotch. And then again, hips come down, uncross before we move on, pausing for a full breath in and out. And then give your knees a little hug into your chest, and you can do a little rocking from side to side. Now, your choice if you want to rock and roll up to a seated position or if you want to roll over and sit up. I'm going to roll over and sit up this time. The rocking doesn't always do well for the mic pack. Okay, and now we're gonna make our way back up to standing however you can. And come to the back of your practice space. Now that we're standing upright, take a full breath in and out. Have you ever stood up too fast from the ground and then you get a little lightheaded? Okay, take a breath in, reach your arms overhead, stretch. And then bend your knees and find the ground. Come all the way down, hands and knees on the ground. You're gonna crawl yourself out and lay yourself down onto your belly. So here you have a choice. You can come up onto your forearms so that your elbows are about underneath your shoulders. That's option one. Option two is to press into your hands and lift your chest higher away from the ground, but the pelvis is still on the mat. So whichever one you're choosing, have a nice long neck, give your chin a little tuck, and then turn to look over your left shoulder and turn to look over your right shoulder. And then come back to center. If your elbows are up, put your elbows down and push yourself up into all fours, but your forearms are going to be on the ground. So you're going to need to walk your knees and your hands maybe a little bit closer together. And then from here, send your hips over to the right as far as they'll go without letting your knees move. And then send your hips over to the left as far as they'll go, again, without letting the knees move. And just go from side to side there. Noticing if one of your sides feels like it keeps going. If you can get the hips over to one side a lot further than on the other side, just notice. One more each way. Great. Come back to center, and now we're going to lift up onto the hands. So if you need some padding under your knees, now's the time to get that blanket, because we're going to keep one knee on the ground here in this next flow. So step your right foot towards the front of the mat, and I like to step it out wide so there's room for my hands on the inside of that foot. And then we're just going to imagine the pelvis is what's driving us here. So you're going to drive the pelvis in a circle. You can be on fingertips, fists, or palms, whatever is most comfortable to you. Driving your pelvis in as big of a circle or as small of a circle as feels good. It's okay if your right foot kind of peels up at certain parts in the circle. No worries. As you go, what can you feel sliding over one another? Do you have any parts, any tissues, any muscles, any joints that you can feel this movement in a little bit more particularly? reverse. It's kind of challenging for me to reverse. Interesting. One more big circle. And then letting the pelvis rest back in that central position. We're gonna bring the right foot in towards the midline a bit and shorten up our stance, okay? So now we're gonna deepen the bend in the front knee. And so we're gonna shift the front knee forward. And as we do that, we really wanna try keeping this back heel on the ground. So if your back heel starts to lift up, you might need to play around with the placement of your foot. Maybe try scooting your foot a little bit further forward. And just really deepening into that bend of the front knee. Letting the back leg and the back half do whatever it needs to do for you to focus on deepening the bend in the front knee and maybe just bringing some extra length into the back of that right ankle, Achilles tendon area, keeping the right heel firmly on the ground. And then let's go ahead and shift back out of that. And from here, take this left leg, the left lower leg, and kind of swing it over to the right. So your right foot toes point over to the right, and we're gonna start to lean back, lean the hips back. We're gonna find a seat. So if that doesn't feel well for your knee or your hips to sit back that way, just do what you need to do in order to get on your tush. And then you can take that left leg out and we'll just leave the blanket there for now, okay? Put your hands on the ground and bend your knees. So your fingertips are pointing in the same direction as your toes and your heels of your hands are maybe a little bit backward from your hips. So you're gonna press into your hands, lift your hips up and take your hips forward. Let your hips travel forward so that your arms are having to move behind you. And once you've maxed out the bend in your knees, let your hips set back down, extend your legs a bit, sit yourself back up and replant your hands for one more go here. So push into your hands, lift your hips any amount, and then take the pelvis forward towards the feet, deepening the bend in the knees as far as you can go comfortably for the wrists and the shoulders. And then again, resetting, sitting up and resetting for one last time until you maybe run out of room. And then from here, we're gonna turn around and make your way back up to standing. Okay, so I am gonna move my blanket off to the side for now. Take another breath in and reach your arms up. Big stretch, and then let's go ahead and find our way back down to the ground, hands and knees. Go ahead and crawl yourself out and lay yourself down on your stomach. So again, it's your choice, forearms or palms on the ground, wherever you are choosing. Just go ahead and lift your chest up away from the ground any amount. Bring a little tuck to your chin maybe, just so that your neck feels really long on all sides. And then give a little look over your left shoulder. Give a little look over your right shoulder. Come back to center. Put your elbows down if they were lifted, maybe scoot them in a little bit, and come back up to your forearm fours. Okay, and then from here, you're just gonna pick up your right knee away from the ground any amount. And as you pick the right knee up, you're just trying to maintain stability through the rest of your shape here. Go ahead and put the right knee down. Can you pick the left knee up? And put the left knee down. Now can you pick the right knee up and can you hover the left forearm? And put those down. And now here we go to the left leg. So hover the left knee and then hover the right forearm. One more time on each side. So put those down. And now we've got the right knee up and the left forearm. Set those down. And then last one, here we go. Left leg, right arm, hover. And set those down. Okay, go ahead and straighten your arms to lift up out of the forearm floors. Reset your blanket if you need to. And we're going to step the left foot forward into that lunge position this time. Again, keep your foot out wide maybe so that you have room for your hands to the inside of your foot. And we're going to let the pelvis take us in a big circle. Again, noticing how our parts are connecting to one another, are moving with or around or shifting as we start to take the pelvis in this circle. And let's go in the opposite direction. Again, it's okay for the left foot to peel up away from the ground at certain parts in your circle. Last one. And return to center. And now let's shorten the stance just a little bit so that you have more room to deepen the bend in the front knee. So we really want the left heel to stay anchored down to the ground because that is going to give us the most leverage for lengthening the back of the left ankle. So we're going to deepen the bend in the front knee here in the left knee, kind of forgetting about the back leg for right now, letting it do whatever it needs to do. And again, if you start to notice that your heel is peeling up and it doesn't want to stay grounded, you might try scooting your foot forward a little bit more. And on this side, I feel like I want to add a little weight. So I'm going to rest my forearm on my front knee. That feels nice. So that's an option. Can you relax your toes? Lovely. Go ahead and shift back. Okay, and now here is where we're going to do that weird thing with the back leg. So you're going to take your right foot and cross it over towards the left. So it's pointing over towards the left. And then if it feels well for your knee, you can go ahead and just sit back. But if it doesn't feel well for your knee, just join me. Meet me here on the tush. I'm going to get the blanket out of the way for now. Extend both of your legs. And this time, we're going to drop down onto the forearms behind us. Okay, so with your knees bent, and you can see if you can find a comfortable and mostly relaxed place for your head. So if it feels comfortable to be looking up at the ceiling, you can do that. For me, it feels like I can relax my neck muscles the most if I'm kind of looking forward between my knees. So from here, start to tilt your pelvis. Do some pelvic rocking. First, lifting the tailbone towards the ceiling. That's kind of flattening the lower back. And then pointing the tailbone down towards the floor. It's kind of arching the lower back. And you can just go back and forth like that, keeping the upper spine pretty stationary. So we're not like doing a full back bend or curling. We're just really focusing on the pelvis. And then we're going to see if we can initiate this movement of the pelvis from the legs. Let's drive it from the legs. So if you push your feet down into the ground and forward towards the front of your mat, you'll notice that that is when your pelvis wants to tuck, when your tailbone wants to point up towards the ceiling. But if you push down into your feet and isometrically drag your heels towards your bottom, that's kind of the pointing your tailbone into the ground. This is an anterior pelvic tilt. You might feel an arch coming into your lower back. And then again, push with the feet to tuck the tailbone, posterior pelvic tilt, pull with the feet to untuck. And just practice that a few more times. One more each way. Great. Come to neutral. Push yourself upright. Just sit comfortably for a moment. If your neck is a little tense, you can like shake out the tension. Just say no to a tense neck. Okay, let's get our blanket ready for the next bit. So if you start with your blanket at about this size, you can roll it and place it down on your mat. And you're going to lay down on top of the blanket so that it's somewhere in your abdomen. So in between your pelvis and your rib cage. And then it's up to you what you do with your arms. I just instinctively came here to having my forearms on the ground, but you can also make a pillow with your hands and rest your head on the backs of your hands. Whatever feels most restful. Sometimes that pressure on the forehead that you might get from the backs of the hands, that little bit of pressure on the forehead can really help to calm the mind. So if you prefer to stay upright, but you still want to experience that pressure, you can grab a yoga block and turn it up on its high side, or a step stool or something like that, and you can rest your head. Yeah, another thing that you can do is to bend your elbows and turn your palms to face the ceiling and just rest your head in your hands. And now let's focus in on the feeling of the breath. What parts of your body do you notice moving as you breathe? Can you feel that as you inhale, your abdomen presses a little bit against the blanket? That's just a reflexive thing that happens as a result of your breath. It's not you actively forcing your stomach into the blanket. And then as you exhale, can you feel that pressure releases and you're able to kind of drape a little bit more over the blanket? The blanket kind of nestles into your tummy a bit more. Take one more breath here. So wherever you're at, go ahead and lift your head up. And if you're flat down on your if you were resting on the backs of your hands, you're going to want to prop yourself up, kind of cross your right forearm in front of your body. Use your left hand to help guide you as you slowly rock towards your right side. So we're going slowly here so that we can really welcome the blanket into the right side body, slowly and gently. And once you kind of get halfway there, halfway to your right side, you can maybe take a moment if you want to frog your leg, and you can explore rocking forward more onto your abdomen and back more onto your back. Giving a side massage here. Okay, and now let's go ahead and lower all the way down here so we're resting totally on the right side. Again, you can always put a pillow under your head or an extra pillow under your left knee. That's the beauty of practicing at home, is you don't have to worry about getting up in the middle of an exercise class to like go and get something that you need. You can press pause and get what you need and come back. So from here, take a big breath in, and you're gonna hold the breath in, but expand the ribs outward, almost as if you're drawing in more breath, but no more breath is coming in. And then exhale and relax. Let's try that again. That might be kind of a new concept. Even before you take a breath in, maybe try moving your rib cage or making your torso feel really big, like you're about to take a deep breath, but don't actually take a breath. So try that right now. Okay. If you couldn't figure out how to do that today, that's fine. You can leave that behind and just breathe. But if you could figure it out, let's bring it in here again. So take a breath in, hold the breath in, and then make the rib cage get bigger. And then exhale, relax everything. One more time, inhale, make the rib cage get bigger. Holding and relax, exhale. Okay, so now let's go ahead and slowly, channeling our sloth nature, roll back onto the stomach. Really try to go at a semi-glacial pace here. Coming back to the stomach. Before we go over to the other side, pause and take a full breath in and out. Okay, so we're gonna get ready to go to the left now. So kind of cock your left forearm across your body. Use your right arm to help guide you. Really slowly again. Rocking, beginning to rock towards the left side. I'm gonna frog my right leg up so I have some extra support. And once you get pretty close to being totally on the left side, pause there and you can kind of rock a little bit. Forward more onto the abdomen, back, closer to the back. Notice how this side may feel similar or different to the first side. Great, and now let's go ahead and lower down so we're totally resting on the left side here. Again, if you need a pillow to feel more comfortable under your head or under your knee, please feel free to do that. Now, before we do the breath, let's see if we can find here that feeling of increasing the size of the rib cage. Like we're about to take a big breath in, but we're not actually inhaling. And when I do that, my abdomen kind of shrinks a little bit as well. So you can watch for that. That's definitely not the the thing that I'm thinking about to initiate the movement. The thing that I'm thinking about to initiate the movement is expanding my rib cage. Okay, so if you've got it, bring it in. If you don't got it, leave it behind. It's fine. Let's take a deep breath in. Hold your breath and then expand your rib cage. And then exhale and relax. I'm going to keep my right arm up over my head so that you can still see my torso. Inhale. Expand the ribs, but don't take in any more breath. And exhale, relax. Last time. Big breath in. Hold the breath, but expand the rib cage more. And exhale, relax. Great job. Okay, let's go ahead and moving again like a sloth, like a glacier, like molasses. Make your way back to your stomach. And before we move on, just pause. Take a full breath in and out. Okay, so go ahead and walk your elbows back, draw your knees in, push yourself up. And then from here, let's go ahead and lie down on our backs. If you feel like you want a little extra support on your back, you can put that blanket roll underneath your head, or I'm going to put mine underneath my knees for just a little extra cush. Okay, so get somewhat comfortable here on your back. Before we relax, go ahead and bring the palms of your hands up to your forehead, up to about your eyebrows. So you want to push your hands and really let gravity move down through your forearms to apply more pressure into your head. Pushing down onto the forehead, and then without sliding over your skin, you're gonna just let your hands start to travel more towards your hairline. It's gonna give the effect of raising your eyebrows. How much can you relax so that gravity moves down through your forearms here? After you've taken out all the slack in the skin, you might feel that your hands start to move and slide, and that's okay. Just as long as you can feel that you've still taken out the slack. One more breath here. Great. And then you can kind of just release the slack, let it go, let your hands relax down through your hair, and then bring the palms of your hands to your temples now. And so again, you're going to give a gentle squeeze in. Not so much that you feel your chest muscles bulge up or that you feel like you have to use a lot of effort. Just a gentle hug from your hands onto your head. And this is pinning the tissue here. And then you're going to drag the tissue up. So you're not sliding over your skin, but you're dragging your hands away from your shoulders towards whatever wall is behind your head. Remembering how we moved our bodies at kind of a glacial pace. That's kind of the pace that our tissues like to move when they're being manipulated. So you can think about that as you're dragging, or after you've taken out all the slack, you again might start to feel your hands slide over the skin, but you're still going super slow. You can even open and close your mouth a few times. And then you can slowly release the slack and just let your hands slide up into your hair, and then release your arms down by your sides with your palms and the creases of your elbows pointing up towards the ceiling. Take one deep breath in through your nose and a big sigh out through the mouth. If you have time for a relaxation meditation, stay put here and mellow out with me. Otherwise, feel free to press pause and go about the rest of your day. If you're sticking with me, feel all of the places where your body makes contact with the ground. So maybe feeling the back of the head, the backs of the shoulders, the back of the hands, maybe the elbows, back of the pelvis, legs, heels. Noticing every part of you that is making contact with the ground. And then instead of just thinking about that you are laying here on the ground, imagine or sense that the ground has come up to meet you. Sensing that relationship that we have with the earth. And as you feel the support of the earth, of the ground, can you accept that support and soften into it? And as you do so, maybe you can sense that you're relaxing around the eyes so much that they settle back into their sockets. And that you're relaxing around your jaw and your mouth so much that your tongue settles to the bottom of your mouth and slinks back into the throat a bit. Take 3 more breaths, accepting the support of the ground, sinking into it. And then after your 3rd breath, take a deep breath in and exhale with a big sigh. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And again, moving so slowly, You can stretch or bend in whatever way feels rejuvenating. And when you're ready, you can make your way up in a slow, intentional way, all the way back up to a seated position. Whew. I hope that you feel relaxed. I hope that you feel that your mind was able to calm down a bit and settle as your body settled. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time.